Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's fourth and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's final video, day 10, will take us to the 1st of November. Wow. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles because they run around a couple of weeks. So I'll have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, and that gets us that'll get us well into the second half of November. I'll get on with that for you in a moment. Just say that the first video today was our 6am upload. We've also released the weekend forecast and the ECM WF 42-day forecast for UK and Ireland as well. Please like, share and subscribe on the videos. And thank you so very much everyone for doing that. Right, going to start off in the tropical Atlantic. We have a disturbance area that suddenly appeared. A yellow X just here, which is disturbance 1. It has a 10% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days and a 20% chance in the next 5 days. I don't think we have to worry too much about that at the moment, but we shall see. Coming back home, the central temperature is currently standing at 12.2, which is 1.6 degrees above average. That's provisional to yesterday, to the 21st of October. So, really warm October so far. I thought we'd recap on the October CET. Just have a quick look at the scores on the doors of that. So this is a CT page at Hadley. This has every month and year's worth of central temperature data back to 1659, oldest and most reliable temperature record anywhere on Earth. So we come down to the current year, to 2022, and that's where October will be placed just there, of course. Been a very warm year, to say the least. We have particularly hot months in July and August, both with 18 Celsius plus CTs. We have very warm May as well at 13.1. April is really mild too. March is very mild. February exceptionally mild as well. So, you know, on and on it goes. Going to be another significantly above average CT for October. Now, last year we had a warm October, so we had an October CT last year of 12.0. We're above that, probably going to stay above that actually over the next few days, considering there's no sign of anything particularly cool coming up. And the temperature overall is still actually rising in what would normally be a cooling period. Also had another really warm October in 2017. That had an October CT of 2.2. In between, we have 3 cooler Octobers. So we had 2018 at 10.5. We had 2019 quite cold at 9.8. And then we have 2020 at 10.4. Again, that's a little bit cooler. Also have a really warm October in 2014 at 12.3. 2011 at 12.5 as well. Also 2013 there at 12.4. That's another very warm October. But in between, 2012 had quite a cold October at 9.5. When was the last time we had a plus 13 Celsius CET? October 2005. That year just here at 13 degrees. Near record breaking, but not quite. The warmest October on record with a CT of 13.2 is actually 2001. So it wasn't that far away from the warmest October on record in 2005. And the record was actually only in 2001. So that was quite remarkable how that worked out. But again, in between, we had 2003, had really quite a cold October at 9.1. We go back into the 90s and October gets much colder then. So we have 1993 with a October CT of 8.3, very chilly month. Even colder the year before though, 1992. The October CT is 7.7. That's after the Pinatubo eruption, of course. So we did have a run of colder autumns. Not particularly cold winters, interestingly, but colder autumns through that early 1990s period. 1991, 92, and 93 all have some quite cold weather during the autumns. The warmest October before 2001 was actually 1969 for quite a long while. So October 1969 and October CT of 13.1 for a long time. That held the record, and then October 2001 picked it. But that's the other time that October gets into the 13. So it hasn't happened very often, but that's the other time that it did happen in 1969. And that was preceded by a very warm October in 1968, actually, at 12.5. So that's put it all into context. Where we are at the moment, of course, is at 12.2. I don't think we're going to get into the 13s. I may be wrong, but I think this is going to hold somewhere probably in the mid to upper 12. So somewhere like 12.5 to maybe 12.9. Something like that, I think, will be the final landing zone. But it'll be interesting. We could just about get into the 13s. I don't think we'll beat 2001. Either at 13.2, but we'll wait and see. We are in for more warmer than average weather over the next few days, so quite where we're going to come in, it remains to be seen. Of course, it will be a continuation of all of these very, very warm months and above average CT months that we've had through this year so far. So let's wait and see, but that's brought it all into context, what we're looking at. Right, so these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks. Looking at Rhyl today in Wales. So the red lines refer to upper air temperature average for Rhyl. We're starting off above average at the moment. Let's say above average really until the end of month. Dates on bottom of the chart. So until we get to around month's end, we're above average. Beyond that, through the first week of November, it looks like I have a bit of a cooling trend appearing. Not going cold, but certainly a bit of a cooling trend through the first week of November compared to the final week of October. You will notice the green line, this thick green line here, that's the latest GFS 6Z operational run. And that becomes very, very warm, actually, around the beginning of November before it actually turns a bit colder than average. I'll have a look at that in a moment, but bear in mind that is quite an outlier for that period for the turn of the month. And unsettled as well, plenty of precipitation spikes to come. Bear in mind, Rhyl is going to be exposed to the Irish Sea and the Atlantic, but nevertheless, looks really unsettled. Plenty of rain, and starting off very mild, becoming a little bit cooler by early November, perhaps. Temperature anomalies on the 22nd of October to the 30th, going to be above average. Not just the UK, but through all parts of Europe, and very substantially so as well. We're seeing deep red curves appearing, which is like 8-10 degrees above average widely across most parts of Europe. So it really is exceptionally mild, if not warm, week to come. Precipitation anomalies from the 22nd of October to the 30th, around to a little bit above average. Latest wind from that from earthnoschool.net shows that the next area of low pressure, next area of low, is lurking to our southwest. That's on its way towards us for tonight and tomorrow too. I'm so sorry, everyone. Right, so it wouldn't be a Gav video without a cough, would it? Here we go then. UK Met for midnight on Tuesday with a little bit of a ridge trying to build up from the southwest. Low pressure comes in off the Atlantic mode by midnight on Wednesday. That brings more rain into West End. Middle latter part of next week, we'll see a duel between high pressure trying to maintain dry conditions to our east, low pressure out to the Atlantic. That pulls up this southerly wind, so warm into the end of the week, but unsettled with this area of low pressure, bringing plenty of rain across the country by next weekend. Icon looks like that again on Tuesday. A little bit of a ridge, and then we go into this duel between high pressure east, low pressure to the west on Thursday. That pulls up a very mild, if not warm, southerly wind. And we keep those southerlies going into the end of the week. Very unsettled for the west road. Low pressure brings spells of rain, and that wet weather gradually progressing eastwards as we go through next weekend too. the GFS midnight run, or much of a muchness through the middle part of next week. This area of low pressure will bring some wet weather into West Bend. We pull up the southerly winds through the last stages of next week there, bring the air all the way up from North Africa. So it's going to be very mild, if not warm, but low pressure to the west will provide outbreaks of rain. And we turn increasingly unsettled and a little bit cool as well as we move towards day 10. That's the 1st of November. Atlantic west to northwesters are breaking through now, so slight change in pattern, losing a southerlies, turning wind into west or northwest. That would be a cooler but still relatively mild wind direction. Eventually turns really unsettled through the first week of November, with this area of low pressure digging in from the north, and not only unsettled but cooler as well as the low pressure begins to move through the country. That'll take a lot of rain with it and pulling cooler air from the north. And we finish up looking pretty wet and windy again, actually, by 7th of November with the GFS midnight run. Cooler and very unsettled, wet and windy for the first week of November. There, GFS 6Z is looking like that. So Wednesday will bring outbreaks of rain into the north and west, but not too much in the southeast. Middle of next week, we're pulling up, or end of next week, I should say, we're pulling up those southerly winds. So looking very mild, but also quite unsettled. And those southerly southwesterlies continue into the final weekend of October as well. Look at the upper air temperatures there for Halloween. Got the plus 10 Celsius iceberg across England and Wales, plus 15 Celsius iceberg. It's across southern parts of, northern parts of France, I should say. Wow, wow, wow. And as this area of low pressure about to the southwest approaches, we do actually pull up on day 10, which is the 1st of November, the plus 15 Celsius isoform, which will get November off to a very, very balmy start. November heat wave there. Maybe. Could that get the temperature to 21 degrees? I don't know, but it would certainly be quite remarkable. Net plus 15 cells ice from there into the 1st of November. Remember, on the ensemble graph, that is quite an outlier, though. One or two doing something similar, so it's not completely on its own, but it is quite an outlier for that start of November period. Right, there we are. Anyway, beyond that, low pressure then pushes through, clears away all of that warmth through the first days of November. We've got very unsettled here with the GFS 6Z, and quite cool as well. He's trying to raise heights actually within the northern latitudes by the very end of the 7th of November, which sends the jet stream southward. So we stay unsettled and we start to turn quite a lot cooler or even colder through the first week of November. If you enjoyed the video, please you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. We need to put on around 8 subscribers now, just 8, to get to 14,600. Our next 100 within 14,000 is imminent. So please give us a sub, tell friends and family to subscribe as well. We thank you so very much for doing that. GEM looking like this, quite unsettled through the middle part of next week, drawing up those really mild southerly winds as well. As we get to the last stages of the week, maybe we could get this to 13 degrees in CET. I'm not sure if we can quite do it, but it's certainly going to be really quite mild indeed by the end of next week. By sort of day 9 and 10, low pressure trying to break through from off the Atlantic, trying to cut off those southerly winds, turn a little bit cooler, but basically it's mild and very mild or warm and unsettled really up to day 10. And then the ECM WF again for the middle of next week with wet wind weather in the west. And then we're drawing up those southerly winds into the second half of the week. Low pressure pushing wet and windy weather in Friday through to Saturday. And then a little bit different with the ECM, sort of raises high pressure over and to the south of the country, so we turn drier, probably a little bit cooler with that ridge of high pressure. But not cold, the wind is still coming in from either a southwesterly or a westerly direction, so should be relatively mild. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run. From Meteo.com, there's going to be plenty of rain to come over the next day or two. Maybe a little bit drier, maybe around the middle part of next week before the wet weather returns from the Atlantic around this time next week. And then we're a little bit dry again, especially for the south, by day 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. gets us to the first day of November. 19 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the west and high pressure to the east. That's going to pull up a very mild, if not warm, southerly wind. That being right, I suppose, with what GFS 6 though is doing for the 1st of November. 12 with low pressure way to the northwest. That's flatter, a little bit more showery. 7 with a high pressure sort of ridging around the country. That does include the operational run. So operational run, not that well supported with its anticyclonic ideas, really. Today, 7 members of the ECM ensembles much more unsettled with low pressure over and to the north of the country, happening to wind in from the Atlantic, and then 6 with high pressure just to our east, low pressure out west, mainly dry. And again, that was bringing up some very mild air from the south, I would have thought. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. If we can get them up, there we go. This gets us to the 6th of November. 19 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure owing to the northern country. That looks very unsettled. 10 low pressure owing slightly to west of the country. That could be quite unsettled, still mild. Winds in from the southwest with that. 8 with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. That's flat westerly, should be relatively mild. 7 with high pressure reaching to the southwest, low pressure way to the northwest, a little bit dry to the south. That's looking quite mild. And then 7 have high pressure so to the north of Scotland, that bringing a little bit more of an easterly type influence. That could be a little bit cooler. Perhaps a chance of some frost and fog with that one. Lastly, with CFSB2, these are 500 millibar high times broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 22nd, 28th of October. Going week has low pressure to west, high pressure to the east. Winds are coming up from that very mild or warm southerly direction. Week 2 is going to be the 29th of October, the 4th of November. High pressure generally ridging close to the coast. There's probably still some left over troughing the 500 millibar flow there, but that should be turning things more settled, a little bit cooler with that. Week 3 is going to be the 5th to the 11th of November. Low pressure to the north of Scotland over country. That looks unsettled, really, possibly quite cool as well. And then week 4, there it is. It's going to be the chart to the 18th of November. High pressure to the southwest, low pressure to the northwest. The winds are coming up from a mild west or southwesterly direction. So not much doing for cold is there. Never mind. Right, okay, so sorry everybody, if you enjoyed the video, then please take you like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe as well. And why not drop a comment, let us know if you think this is all of our videos. So thank you so very much for doing that. I say 8 more subscribers will get us to 14,600. Our next 100 within 14k is imminent. So please give us a sub and thank you so much, everybody. Right, that's it for today's big centre. Don't come tomorrow. You're going to start on 6 AM upload. Then we've got the 8th. Epic 8th winter update for 2022-2023. That'll be released at 10 AM. Going to be epic winter update. And there'll be live streaming, of course, on Monday, where we will have a discussion about that winter update, and that'll be at 8 PM on Monday. Before that, there'll be a 6 AM broadcast on Monday, and probably a 10 to 14 day as well. Well, definitely 10 to 14 day as well on Monday. So that's the plan for the next couple of days. You enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon / evening. I am going to get the winter update together very shortly, and then I shall have a night off. I'll have a bit of a relax, I think. But you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and for this video, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.